Hi, my name is Terry Lee from Sweet Pea Papers, Sweet Pea Papers Facebook group, and the Junk Journal tutorials and more Facebook group. Now today we're going to do crafting with BeeBeeCraft, and last week on March the 10th of 2024, if you want to find it and you're watching this way in the future, just look in the BeeBeeCraft playlist at Sweet Pea Papers on YouTube, and you'll find all the videos, and you're going to want to look for March 10th of 2024 to see the unboxing that goes with this. During the unboxing, we discovered that we had all of these office rings. There's 100 of them. Yay! I used them like crazy. So what we're going to do is we're going to make a template so that you have it for the future, so that you can make your own ring-bound journals. Now that's assuming that you have an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper cut in half. This actually goes the other way. Now I had it marked right. It goes this way. Okay, cut in half. Some rings and a manila folder. This is a legal size manila folder. You can do this with a regular, just a paper sized one. So we're just going to get out these little bitty rings, and we're only going to use them for demonstration purposes, and then you would take them back off, except to hold your templates of the different sizes that you need. For you can make basic ones and write on it what size paper it's for, and then you could use one of these little rings to hook them all together and keep your templates together. What a good idea. Okay, so you've got your two papers, and they're 5.5 inches across. This is the second time I filmed this. I murdered it the first time. My poor proto died an ugly death. So what we're going to do is we've got 5.5 inches wide and a 1/2 inch for the ring area, the holes that we're going to punch for the ring. Now that gives us enough room. No, I think if we do, yeah, if we do, we don't want a 1/2 inch, we want 1 inch. That's going to be too big. We want 3/4 of an inch. So we have enough room for the yeah, 3/4 of an inch. So that's 1/2 and 1/4. That's 3/4 of an inch. That will give us enough room for our rings and our other things. We're going to cut out tabs, so we're going to need another inch for that. So this is 6 1/4, 7 1/4 wide by 8 3/4 tall. Okay, because we're adding 1/4 to the height, so we have 1/8 of an inch above and 1/8 of an inch below our paper, so we can make our border. So now let's see if I can do this time. Okay, we need it 7 1/4 wide and 8 3/4 tall. Let's do 8 3/4 tall. I'm trying to decide which way to do it with the tab. I mean, we're going to cut it off, but still. So it's 8 3/4 tall. And then we want 7¼ wide. Let's see, how do I want to do this? Okay, so that's what we want. We came up with this. So we're going to cut this in half. So we want 2 pages. We don't want one with a seam because we're going to cut holes and ring bind it. Okay, so we've got these 2. Looks about right. We're going to get our tab template, which is just a tab that I cut off of another file folder. And we're going to put a tab on here. It's just a little short. So we'll line it up, and then we'll move it up. And then we'll just cut it from, because we had to cut the tabs off to make the papers. So we're going to trace the tab from our template. So always save a tab so that you can use it as a template. If you want to, punch a hole in this one and keep it with this template. Not a bad idea, actually. Oh. Okay. So now we're going to cut it out. Still think we might be an 1/8 too large. So now we've got our made up tab. Whenever I go back in and try to fix a little point like that, I always mess it up. Okay, better than it was, leaving it alone. Okay, so we've got this tab, and then this is 1/2 inch, I believe, so we'll use that. In fact, it's 3/4 of an inch, so we've got the 1/2 inch will be 2 of the lines. I don't know if you can see this or not, but this is where the gusset lines were, or are. There's 3 of them right across here, and they're 1/4 of an inch apart. So we'll use those as guides. It's still too wide by 1/2 inch. Quarter of an inch. Let's see how that looks. So we want 1/8 of an inch in from this, not up here, but this little notch right there. Got black soot ink all over my fingernails already. It's still just a smidge wide. Then we'll measure and see how wide it was, so we'll know. Yeah, and then that's enough for the rings. Okay, so let's measure how wide this really ended up being. Looks like it's probably going to be 1/4 of an inch shorter. Six and 7/8. Yeah, see, really basically 1/4. So basically that should have been 7 by 8 3/4. Okay? So just remember that. It's going to be 7 by 8 3/4. Because the height looked good. Let's write it on the other side. Okay. So now the next thing we want to do, we're going to actually make one here with, we're going to ink it. We're not going to glue the paper on though. But the next thing we would do, actually, we're not. There's no reason to ink this. So the next thing we would do is put the holes in. And we want them to be about 1/4 of an inch in and equidistant. So use your zeroing ruler. Okay, 4 3/8. Let's measure that in. The same. Keep moving it. So center is here. Half of this is two and 1/4. So then we'll come in on this one. That looks high. Just 1 3/4 look like. I'm going to go with 1 1/2. I'm trying to make sure that it's equal distance in. My ruler keeps moving. Okay, so I want, shoot. One and 1/4. And then up here I want 1 1/4. could have done 1 1/2 or 1 3/8, but we're going to stay with 1 1/4 up from the bottom. And then all we have to do is take our crocodile and I put it on 1/8, which is the smaller of the 2 holes that it will make. And then you just punch a hole where your dot is. You can always go back in if you end up using the great big giant ring and punch over the hole and make it bigger. Okay? So now there's your template. Now what you want to do to use your template, is just take your pencil and mark your holes. Then mark your tab. Cut this one out. Now, on a legal size, the tabs are a little bit longer. Okay, so now you have a second page. All you have to do is punch out the holes. And that's how quickly you can make a second page for your book. And then you ink them. You know, if you're going to ink them. You can use washi on the edges if you want. Just you put the washi on first and then punch the holes. You can use ribbon, same thing. Punch through it. So now you've got this one, and you're like, well, I don't want 2 like this. Then just flip it over, and you've got one with a top tab and one with a bottom tab. I didn't round the corners on this. Oh, we've got that cut out. This is the other corner. Okay. I know that not all 4 corners are rounded or notched on a regular file folder, but on this type of book, it looks better to round the corners. So then, once you have a couple of pages, then to test everything out, oh, when you flip it over, it makes the holes unaligned. Look at that. Huh. Okay. So you'll have to flip your template upside down and cut it out and put it in between these 2 pages. So then all you have to do to hold your book together is get out one of these rings and you pull one half towards you and push one half away while you're pulling them apart. It's kind of hard on this one. Get your little fingers in there. Oh, come on. Okay, let's go one size up. Let's see if I can do it. Can't believe those are so small. I can't get my little tiny fingers in there and pull it open. So, you push one side away and pull one side towards you. That's not moving at all. All right, now I give up. This is crazy. Never seen anything like it. That one didn't move at all. Almost like it was coated after. There we go. Towards you, away from you, and then open. Wow. And then you just put this through the hole. Now, if you were making an actual book and not just a couple of templates, then you would use more than one ring. But this is a template for 8.5 by 11 ebook page. It's going to be 8.5 tall and 5.5 wide. There we go. 5.5 by 8.5 ebook page. And then you're done. Ta-da! I finally got it done. I'll keep this template myself. For the ones that go this way, then you're going to need to make a template for the one that goes downwards, down with the bottom template. Then you're going to need another one with your center tab. And your center tab, if you're using legal sized file folders, is going to have to be cut down. Otherwise, well, it might fit, but it might not fit and look right. So you might want to get out a regular sized file folder and trace the center tab out from a center tab regular sized paper folder, and then you would have a center one that would fit. Okay? All right. Well, I know that was a little confusing and a little bit not what I wanted to do. I mean, it turned out to what I wanted to do. See? Here's our paper lined up with this little corner. It fits right in there. And then there's where the rings would go. You see? So that's perfectly sized. Yay for perfect. Okay, well that's it for this video, and I'll see you in the next video, and that will be just a second for you and a day for me. Okay, bye-bye.